Get peace of mind with the RV Advisor's extended warranty for as low as $14 per month. Visit thervadvisor.com today.
Little birdie told me I need RV advice.
Get information straight from the horse's mouth.
Little birdie told me I need RV advice.
It's Just Ask Gigi with Gigi Stetler and Tom Alexander. Now here's Gigi and Tom.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Just Ask Gigi. I'm Tom Alexander. And of course, as always, I am joined by the star of the show. There she is. It is
Hi.
Gigi Stetler. Hey, Gigi, how you doing?
I'm grand, as grand can be. How are you?
Doing okay. Doing all right. Looks like you have settled in pretty comfortably into the temporary digs, if you will.
I would not use the word comfortably.
Okay, not comfortably.
And
you're managing, right?
I only say that because of the awkwardness of the table and the desk, and I'm smushed behind this wall, and I have a backache every time I leave because I'm having to go sideways to type on my temporary keyboard. Yeah. So otherwise, it could be worse, and it's better than the alternative. So it's all good.
Gotcha. Well, I know that there's a lot going on. We were talking before we came on the show, and of course, there's always stuff happening and all kinds of what do you call them, horror stories or mishaps or whatever that folks contact you about and seek advice, and there's also some industry news. So let's have at it.
Well, this week has been extremely busy on the victims of Marcus Lemonis website, and for those of you that have not been on the site, I'm going to read you one story that left me scratching my head. Like it's beyond, they can't. This is something like you would almost see like a Lucille Ball kind of skit, that it's not real, like when things just happen, or Robin Williams when he was hooking up the sewer pipe and everything broke, the RV movie. I mean, I'm kind of reading this story waiting for the climax of that. It's a joke, because
for anyone, by the way, for anyone under 40, Lucille Ball was a comedian on television in the 50s and 60s and 70s. But anyway,
70th year or something. I just saw year anniversary or something. But yeah, I was waiting for the punchline of just kidding, but no,
right.
So anyway, yeah, I just thought, I thought I would read one, just that, and I think everyone should take the takeaway of this family's horrific story. There are things that go on, when you're doing your walkthrough and your closing and stuff like that, which you'll hear this in the story. When you start to see some flags, red flags mainly, not surrender flags, but red ones. That you need to know that it's okay to walk away. You need to figure that out. If you need me, if you're a member and you need me and you need to know advice, if you can get your deposit back, or all of those things before you take the big leap, of paying for the rest of the camper or signing your finance contract. I'm begging you people not to sign your finance contract until you've done your walkthrough and your inspection and everything is working, because these are things that just, no one has time for anybody when, to come back. So I'm going to read this. Of course, I have to put my goggles.
Yes. Understand it well. I totally get that.
Okay, here we go. We purchased our Coleman 2125 bunkhouse from Camping World in South Carolina in July of 2020. It was pouring down rain, so we were told that the outside kitchen lock and pullout would be looked at because it would be looked over / fixed prior to delivery. The missing parts would be installed when delivered later in the week. That day, the day came for delivery. So I'm assuming when they purchased it, they noticed the outside kitchen, it wouldn't open and parts missing. So I'm assuming that was before they paid for it and picked it up. So And it says the missing parts would be installed when delivered later in the week. That day came for the delivery. We were told the camper would arrive around noon. So I guess they were dropping it off.
Yeah.
And 2, then 4, and then there was no one to contact because they were closed. The camper finally showed up at around 8 p.m. It was dropped off, no temporary license plate, no walkthrough, just a delivery guy and his lady friend waiting in the truck. No missing parts, no outdoor kitchen, issues resolved. Pull-out stove would not pull out at all. The counter was swollen from the water leak, broken door and missing caps. The delivery guy had trouble getting it off the jack so it could be moved. Popped several fuses and then ended up using the manual crank. We asked about the license plate and we were told, oh, it's just fine to drive back to Virginia without a license plate. Okay. And even the person says, oh, I'm no rocket scientist, but I know that we have a huge problem.
Yeah, that seems like a red flag, yes.
It is now almost 9 p.m. and we were leaving for home at 8 a.m. in the morning. I took pictures and sent an email and a text to the salesperson. Due to the late arrival, we did not thoroughly look over the unit until we got home.
Yeah.
Big mistake. Uh-oh. Never got a response. We drive home safely and then did a complete look over. We found that none of the missing parts were there. Outdoor kitchen was leaking water from the seal, causing the pull-out counter to swell so much that it would not pull out. The mold and the mildew was everywhere, and the smelled awful. Numerous emails and daily calls to South Carolina for over a month. We finally got to speak with a manager that the receptionist felt bad, so she was also helping us to get a hold of someone. Upon our walkthrough, we also noticed a bent scissor jacks and a hole in the floor. Finally, speaking with someone at Camping World in South Carolina, they told us to contact a local Camping World in Virginia. In August, we called and we made an appointment for November 3rd for repairs. That is when the ultimate nightmare started. In December, I was contacted to provide the sales agreement. I emailed that and then heard nothing back. Then we started calling weekly, and in March, now we're all the way up to March, and could not get anyone to call us back after numerous messages. Not one time were we ever able to speak with anyone other than the receptionist. I reached out to corporate, the website that says, if you're not happy, then Marcus is not happy. Well, Marcus must have been messed up. Marcus must have a messed up definition of happy. That's pretty funny. Numerous calls and emails. So got answered and some did not. So now I was to follow up again. The guy at corporate said he could not get them to return a call either. Finally, was getting Camping World to reach out. The service manager actually told me that everything but the hole in the floor was fixed. I said, great. He said that the warranty would not approve the claim for the hole because it was a collision. Collision? What collision? The unit has never been in a wreck. This is where things just got worse. Corporate is a complete joke and a waste of time. We were told to file an insurance claim and then they would repair the floor, and then they actually found more holes than we even knew about. In my eyes, that's a little bit like fraud, insurance fraud side, because you want me to file a claim for something I did not do, and you want to charge over 40 hours of labor to repair a job that is probably a few hours. Found out that my unit's warranty was never registered, and South Carolina was fixing with Virginia, and now no one is going to fix anything. Finally get frustrated because we had a meeting with the corporate guy and was told a courtesy that they would cover the deductible when we file the claim. Well, that's very nice of them.
Wow. Yeah.
I asked for him to put that in writing so I could review it for later that night with my husband. The email came limiting it up to $500. Oh, so they won't pay more than a $500 of deductible. I responded back to corporate asking to provide the cost breakdown for the repairs that have been completed and the ones needing to be completed. I also asked for the original intake form when we signed back in November of 2020. Well, it is May 2020, no response. We picked up the trailer. They lost our keys, tried to charge us for something that they got shut. Oh, that got shut down quickly. Our unit was parked in the very back of the lot, clearly was not worked on. I sent a text and called to inform them that the unit that would be picked up and at what time. Nope. In good old Camping World fashion, nothing was done. Now we have the unit home and found that nothing at all was repaired. The outdoor kitchen unit is still absolutely covered in mold and mildew. Previously, I kept it open and had bleach to it to kill the mold, and the smell was so bad. Now I'm contacting the warranty people because Camping World told me that they had repaired the outdoor kitchen. Clearly, they did not. Did they say, and they tell me though, and then they tell me to file a false claim so they could double dip on the warranty and the insurance repairs. Or just the warranty? Question mark, question mark. So we bought the warranty for the tires and everything else. So basically we just wasted all of our money. Now we'll be calling Dutchman to see if a warranty claim was filed. I hope they did not commit fraud. So that's where my whole story is at the current moment. They had my camper for over 5 months. They did absolutely nothing. Seriously, what in the world would they charge me for since nothing was done? Husband wants to contact an attorney, but that would be more money than what the repairs should have been. I've been fighting with these people that they nearly have no moral compass, nor have, once again, any ounce of integrity. Do yourself a favor and do not buy from Campbell. No matter what location, you will regret it. They tell you what you want to hear and take advantage of every situation. Marcus must be a very unhappy person because his company has done a lot of people very wrong.
Well, it's interesting because I think in a lot of ways, sometimes these kinds of companies, go into things and knowing full well that Mr. and Mrs. Front Porch, many of them can't afford an attorney, afford legal help. And so they figure we got them, but they sometimes they aren't aware that, the service that obviously you provide, can certainly help in kind of moving this stuff along in the owner's favor, in the buyer's favor.
Well, the thing, yes, and the thing is that, the reason I picked this story, just that this was one of 8 that came in, and today's only Wednesday. But the thing is that when they did the walkthrough, they already noticed the kitchen messed up. So dealers are busy, and I'm not even going to say it's only Camping World. It could be other dealers, but and I hate to say this, but it's shame on the buyer now. If there's problems, you've got to have another inspection to make sure that these things are done and fixed before it drives over the curb.
Yeah.
Have to. So, unless you find a mom and pop kind of, store and you can look at their reviews and see what the reviews are on the sales side, because the sales side is so important because, if I'm going to vet a company, I look at the reviews, and there's, there are a lot of fake reviews out there and stuff. So, but I look to see, if there's, customer after customer after customer that buys a vehicle and doesn't get service, and then can't get a service appointment for months and months, and then they don't fix it properly. It's a habit, it's a pattern. So look for the pattern. And if I see a pattern, then, I try to, stay away from that type of company. If you see, where they have some bad reviews and are all over the place from a rental to a, to this, to that, different, then, that's different. But when you're dealing with, the same ongoing, repetition of, the same problem. So lesson learned. I mean, I feel horrible for these people, but, lesson learned, is when he saw the outside kitchen, if it's not working and it was pouring down rain, and yes, you don't want to open the kitchen when it's raining, but, then make another time, get a video, do something, but don't just drive away and then expect it to show up at your campsite, without, inspecting it again. So obviously this customer must have paid for it before, it showed up. And these are the things that you're just going to have to start to pay attention to.
Absolutely. It's no question. These are critical things to be mindful of. We'll take a quick break, Gigi, and when we come back, we've got a couple of questions for you. She's Gigi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander. This is Just Ask Gigi. Back in a moment.
GPS is Gigi's personal services. She's an RV expert with over 3 decades of experience. Visit thervadvisor.com today.
We are back now on Just Ask Gigi. She's Gigi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander, and a couple of questions for you, Gigi. This one comes from Martin, and I'll tell you, both questions we've not had before. I haven't seen these. This is interesting. Martin says, he asks, I should say, what do you think about buying a used unit directly from an owner?
I love it. I would recommend getting it inspected.
Mhm.
I don't, I guess it kind of depends on the price range of the vehicle. And, I'd be more than happy, as a member, we would run the VIN number to make sure that there's no lien on it. There's some things that get a little tricky. If they do have a lien holder and stuff like that.
Mhm.
If you're financing it, that might be difficult, but if you're paying cash, we would love to help you, through the process. And, if you're not an RVer that knows what to look for, then please get it inspected. But otherwise, I don't have a problem with a peer-to-peer transaction at all.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, that's good. Hope that answered your question, Martin. And Herb writes, I guess this is, he's apparently going to be taking a trip because he asks, any special advice on desert drives and stays?
Mhm. Well,
Yeah,
stay cool.
right. Yeah.
You know, going
Usually
like,
at night it cools down, but
Yes.
you get those daytime temperatures well over 100.
yes, and be prepared, because any RV is not going to be cooler, 20 degrees. It's going to be 20 degrees at the most cooler than it is outside.
Hmm.
If it's 105, be prepared, to be able to withstand the heat. People think they've got 2 air conditioners or 3 air conditioners, and they're going to be fine in those extreme temperatures. But just remember that 20 degrees, because that's all an air condition. That's all that's all.
That's the max power.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
with based on the type of insulation that's in the RVs, and
Mhm.
cracks in the windows, things that so many openings and stuff, allowing so much hot air to come in. But the good thing with the desert heat is it's dry.
Yeah.
So it's not, you don't get that humidity where you have to hang all the damp ribs everywhere. So you don't get the humidity, so it's actually far more tolerable.
It is for, yeah, and shade helps obviously. So if you have an awning or something, you
Yes.
can kind of.
But you'll have a blast. I mean, I would,
Yeah.
I all out in in the West, Grand Canyon, through that, you'll really, really have a good time. And just make sure that you plan accordingly, that, if it's going to reach high temperatures, for a very long period of time, make
Mhm.
sure that you have an exit strategy to be able to, move on, without committing yourself to, a long period of time, and then be stuck with cancellation fees and things like that.
Great, great. Well, thank you, Herb. Thank you, Martin. If you're interested in asking Gigi a question on Just Ask Gigi, very simple. Just email us at info@thervadvisor.com. That's info@thervadvisor.com. And in the subject line, just put JAG or Just Ask Gigi. And that's all you got to do. And then ask away, and we'll make every effort to get your question answered. Gigi, we're going to come back in just a moment to wrap things up.
Alrighty.
And of course, talk about perhaps even our next show. This is Just Ask Gigi. Back in just a moment. Tom Tom Alexander from the RV Advisor podcast here. What's more fun than campfire cooking? The Wolf'em Stick. Enjoy marshmallows, biscuits, hot dogs, and more. It's next level campfire cooking. Visit wolfemstick.com. Wrapping things up now on Just Ask Gigi. And hey, Gigi, I know that we're always, moving along and trying to do new things and improve the site, get feedback from our followers, from our users, our members, and kind of learn, hey, what do you guys need? What would you like to see? And I know that the site is being updated and there's going to be a lot of stuff, and a professional site as well. Why don't you share a little bit about the latest and greatest?
Yeah, so, in our memberships, we have 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. So we've added a professional membership page, and I believe it's like $169 a year. And what the professional page is, so when you're a professional member, so you basically have a professional profile. So let's say if you're, a dog groomer or a realtor or, real estate, whatever whatever your profession is, or you have a brick and mortar store or online sales, store, whatever it is that, your professional site does. So you'll create this profile, you'll connect with other professionals, and members will be able to search by category. So you'll have your whole store, you'll have your own platform with your own store on the RV Advisors platform. So a link will go to, if you're selling shoes or, jewelry or, doormats or mailboxes or whatever you're selling, you'll set up your professional page and the link to your website. You can track your orders. You could do all of that right through the platform, our platform. So it's kind of a combination between what's it called, Shopify, Spotify, or something, but on Facebook, where you.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure the name, but I know they have a whole store section.
It's like a marketplace.
Yeah.
So it's similar to that. And
Yeah.
then on a combination of that and like LinkedIn or something like that, where you can share connections with other professionals. And the beauty of that is that when the map portion of that is done, because the page will be done first, and then when the map part is done, let's say you're traveling, you're on the road, and you need an animal clinic or emergency clinic or dog groomers or whatever you may need along the way. When you type in your category, it'll go by map. So all the dog groomers will pop up, or animal hospitals will pop up that are members in your immediate location. So
that's fantastic. Yeah. And by the way, I just topped on Facebook, and yes, it is indeed titled called Marketplace. So yeah.
But we're a little bit different than that, where
Right.
It's more of a community and a network of, because members like to do business with other members,
Yeah.
So, and we also there'll be an area where we can verify this professional's profile. So if they want to be verified, then they would go through the process of me vetting their business and their company and having my seal of approval. So that I've checked them out, because then if something goes wrong, they have to answer to me, so.
Gotcha.
But that's the beauty of it, that you're able to, communicate with members instead of being out, in the cold without any recommendations.
Right. Well, good to know. And again, want to remind our friends, our viewers, that if you want to register your unit, go to rvaca.org. That's rvaca.org. Always a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, for another week.
Too, so
Say again?
maybe before you get in trouble. So many people register with
True.
RVA after they need a complete legal team,
Yeah.
But we could stop so much of this from happening if people were to, join up, pay their dues now, so that if they ever need resources, we have the resources, to help. So
Excellent. Yeah.
instead of waiting until, you're already in trouble, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a good idea. Well, we'll be back again next Thursday with a brand new show. We have Just Ask Gigi. For Gigi Steppler, I'm Tom Alexander. We thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.